As an empath, I used to believe that I had no control over my environment. And when I say environment, I'm not necessarily talking about the external, but my internal environment. I believe that my emotions were just susceptible to everybody else's emotions. And so I would walk into a room and I would feel what people were feeling and I would become their feelings, right? I would take on the weight of the world, the weight of those around me, the weight of those I was thinking about even at that moment. I felt as if my emotions were never truly my own, as if I was not even safe in my own company because I was just so sensitive to everything and everyone's opinions. Now, I put on a mask in most cases, right? I showed that everything was all good, it was all Gucci, it was all cool, right? I had no problem in the world. I was peaceful, calm, and tranquil, but internally I was suffering. And I believed that this was just the way that my life was going to be. I genuinely believed that. I didn't know there was a way out of this deep emotional yearning space that I was experiencing. I did not. I did not think there was a way out. And yet now here I am sitting in front of you as an individual who can truly and genuinely say, you can ask anybody in my life at this point. There is probably nobody around me who is so protected within themselves, so authentically them when it comes to their emotions and so real with their own emotions. An individual who is able to walk into a room and have a multitude of people feeling a different type of way. I could walk into malls, I can walk into any crowded space and not take on that environment, but instead walk within my power, within my true personal power. And that didn't come by coincidence. It came by a choice. It came by a decision that enough was enough. And it came by a decision that what I called empathy, and this ain't going to be a popular opinion, but it's a necessary one. It's going to be a healing message for anybody who is truly willing to take this home with them today. When I realized that my belief of me being an empath was actually me looking for a title or me looking to name the simple fact that I had been conditioned into believing that I had to take on the weight of others in order for me to be a good person, in order for me to be enough, in order for me to be valid in this life. I did not know what my own emotional state was, so I would go in a room and gauge what everybody else was feeling so I could chameleon, I could camouflage myself, I could hide myself in that environment. When others came to me because I believed my emotions were not valid, I believed that my own presence, my own being was not valid unless I was fixing or solving somebody else's problem, unless I was taking on the weight and the baggage of another. And so when I talk to you about the dark empath or the dark truth about quote unquote empathy, again, this is not going to be a popular opinion because sometimes we wear like a badge of honor, right? Let's be honest with ourselves. We say, well, I'm just such an empath. It's the same thing as saying, well, I'm just such a giving, kind person. When in reality, it is the lack of boundaries, the fear of setting true boundaries with those around us and setting our foot into the ground and saying, this is what I stand on and I'm not going to move from this place. And not feeling guilty for that, not feeling guilty for taking time for yourself, not feeling guilty for putting yourself first within your own life experience. That guilt that kicks in causes us to then just wear this title of I'm just such a good-hearted person, I'm just an empath, when in reality you are living in a state of resentment. You're living in a state of bitterness. You're living in a state of hatred for some of the people around you simply because you believe that your job is to continuously put them first. And hopefully, magically, somehow the universe is going to gift you for this, right? That's how I've been taught because we were raised in environments of conditional love. If you do this for me, I will show you my affection. If you do this for me, I will show you my attention. In order for you to be validated by me, you must act in a certain way. You must behave in certain ways, or you must stop behaving in certain ways. That's the sort of quote unquote love that we experienced at those infantile stages, at those adolescent stages, and we took those into adulthood and we called it empathy. We thought that it was because we were so sensitive, when in reality we were just so open energetically. And that's not a gift, my friend. What is a gift is the ability to discern energy, the ability to read a room and be able to know what's going on in that room. That is a gift. To be able to know what's going on, emotional sensitivities, etc., that's a gift. But to take on the emotions of the world as a weight of your own, I'm telling you right now, that is not a gift. And this may be a hard message to hear. This is like a message of, I promise you that it is possible to lose that weight that you have been holding for a lifetime that people told you was, something other than what it truly is, or that you could never lose it, etc. This is that same type of message where it may be very triggering at first, especially within the spiritual community, where we start to wear like a badge of honor. Again, in the Christian community or in the religious community, this thing of being a martyr or being a savior or being a saint, it's the very same thing. It's the very same energetic space. It's the fear of people not accepting us. It's the fear of not being enough, not being adequate without being the savior of the world. It's the running from our own internal work. It's the running from our own shadow work. I wish I could tell you something else sometimes. I really do. Like, I wish I could tell you like some of these other coaches or other individuals and, in social media, which is you're just an empath and that. Like, nah, I got to tell you, listen, you are allowing yourself to be open and susceptible to everybody else's energy because you're not putting yourself first. And once you start to value yourself, once you truly start to walk in your power, you realize that, okay, yes, I can sense what's going on around me, but I don't have to take on what is around me. And I don't have to be guilty for not taking on the emotions of others as I used to. As I used to go into spaces and think, man, I have to, if I don't show up in a certain way, I'm not going to be accepted. So I got to make sure that I put on the mask of, I believe in what you believe in, I'm into what you're into, etc. And people would leave sometimes feeling validated, and I would feel good because they felt validated, even if it meant denying myself in the process, even if it meant lying to myself in the process, even if it meant complete neglect of my authentic true self in that process. And so I suffered as a result of that. And there are multitudes of individuals who are now facing deep levels of dis-ease within their bodies, ailments that are manifesting from that state of lack of authenticity. Make sure to check out Dr. Gabor Mate, wonderful work that he's doing around the space of what happens when you have that repressed trauma, those emotions that are not dealt with completely. Absolutely. Those things that are not looked at within us, the things that we pretend don't exist, the emotions that we neglect, the self that is repressed over time. I promise you, you will only suffer for as long as you stay within that space of taking on everybody else's and not taking yours as the main. Your emotions are valid, your life is valid, and is valid to you, and it must be valid to you first. It's nobody else's job to be responsible for your emotions, but let me repeat that. It's not your job to be responsible for anybody else's emotions, but it's also not their job to be responsible for yours. They cannot do anything to completely shift your own emotional state, maybe temporarily, but as far as a long-term solution, there's nothing anybody else can do. There's not enough validation in the world that will make you feel valid so long as you're not validating yourself, so long as you are not telling yourself that I am enough from within yourself. All right? Now, I appreciate you guys for watching this. I've been building out an entire course as well as a coaching program connected to it on how to truly develop this ability to self-validate, to truly cultivate self-worth. It's called a course on self-worth, right? And an upgrade from that for those who are truly, truly trying to get that visceral experience of having somebody guiding you through it or having individuals guiding you through step by step. We're creating a coaching program. And that is from people pleasing to personal power. That's what it's titled right now. Title might change, but it's the very same concept of going from a space of being that, caring person, the one who wants to be loved and etc., but truly learning how to take your personal power back and to live from that power. Not to take on the weight of the world, but instead to truly find your authentic self, to show up as that person, and to be the most impactful that you can within the lives of first your own life, and then the lives of those around you, and the lives of those that you are then called to serve. Not from a place of emptiness, not from this right here, not from that right there, not from that, not from that, not from that, but from a full cup. I appreciate you guys. Love you guys. If you're somebody who needs one-on-one consultation, I'm going to have them for the time being, but eventually I'm just going to segue completely into the coaching program. So please make sure if you are ready for a one-on-one breakthrough, go into my description right now. You will probably find the link still if you watch it like within the next few weeks or so. But after that, I'll be segueing completely into the coaching program. So make sure to get your one-on-one right now or get into the coaching program. We'll get on the phone. We'll see if you're truly a match for this program and if you are a match for us, right? I love you. Appreciate you. Peace.